Okay, circle of salt. Okay, done. And the candles. And, okay, let's see the book now. Come to me, O demon, I have summoned you into this circle.
Hello.
I can't, I can hear you. You need to come through into the circle, demon.
Well, yes, I see you've done the summoning circle, and that is a good start to getting me there, but, have you thought about the size of summoning circle you've done?
It fits on the rug, so it'll be easy to clean up later.
Well, yes, but also, there's supposed to be social distancing right now, and
You as well?
yes, and, being sensible, lead by example, but, I don't think you've really left room for me to enter through this circle and not be within 2 meters of you.
I mean, I live in a tiny shitty apartment. I don't have 12 feet of space to put so that you'd be in the middle.
Well, that's not exactly my problem, is it? And even then, I'm having a peek through the summoning circle. I sent one of my many tentacled armed eyes to have a look. You're not even wearing a face mask.
I didn't think it was necessary. I was home alone.
Well, you might be home alone, but how many people do you think I go and get summoning circle to every week? You might be fine, you might be alone, but if you get deals on me and then I go, get summoned by some old lady, what's going to happen then?
I honestly hadn't considered that demons were essential workers.
I don't know what you summoned me for, but you're not the only person in need of, extra-dimensional support and/or communion every now and then.
Right, okay. I'm gonna need some move some furniture. I'll call you back.
Yep, and if you can make sure you're wearing a mask, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks. Sorry to... Thanks.
No worries, I'll be ready to help you with all your hellish duties soon.
Yay! Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers, that podcast where two queer trans ladies have a bit of a chat about our weeks and do silly voices and skits and the such. Us! How has your week been in terms of media consumption and the such?
In terms of media consumption, it's been pretty good.
It's been good on that front.
It's been good.
Maybe less on the not media consumption front, but...
Yeah, it's been a lot.
It's been... a lot of weeks have been a lot.
Tuesday.
I know, it's already been a lot, huh?
Yeah.
But it's okay, because we're here having a conversation about stuff we've played, listened to, and watched at this moment. Should we get into the things we played?
Yeah, let's talk about the things that we played.
So what have you played this week?
Well, I played well. We did another 2 months of the pandemic legacy.
Yes, we continued on. We've made it to, what, June now?
Yep.
We did May and June.
We haven't lost a game yet, which is impressive.
We haven't lost a game, but we've started... May, we took some considerable casualties.
We did.
Yeah, May was...
We got our first city up to a level 3 rioting.
Yes, and I think it was the only red city we've had any sticker on it to that point.
Yep.
And it very quickly we were like, it's fine, we've got time, we can quarantine all the cities, we've got time, and that one's just blowing up routinely, and it's like, doesn't feel worth it to go back and fix it because we've got this problem over here, but
yeah, things are getting a lot more difficult to manage overall.
Yeah. June we had a pretty effective June game.
I think we had a much easier June game than we had May.
May was difficult because both of our characters took some physical... Well, they took some scars. You took one, and I'd taken 2, which meant, if I got injured another time, my character was dead.
Which was going to make that the rest of that month real difficult.
Yeah, you don't want to get in a situation where it's one person and a civilian, because then all of your, relationship bonuses stop working, and everything would have been real bad. So
real bad.
We both made the decision at the end of May to go, let's temporarily retire these characters. We might come back to them. We spent a month trying to create cards that would help us to protect those people if we bring them back in, but I was quite happy with our new characters. We played with a person who was themed around quarantines.
Yeah, so you're the quarantine specialist, I'm
Yeah.
the medic.
So you can take all of the cubes off a place that you cure.
Yeah, I just ooze some kind of healing gas.
Indeed, and I can quarantine cities without having to travel to them, which is so good.
Especially considering where we are at the moment.
Yeah. Considering where the game's at right now, it's so nice being able to go about and do other things and not have to end. Because the thing is, when you're not playing the quarantine specialist, to quarantine a city, you have to use one action to move into it, one to quarantine it, and one to move back out of it if you don't want to take a
scar
by
by being in one of those.
And then you've got
cities.
one action left over that you don't really have much to do with, and it's
not ideal.
you're using most of your 4 actions on a turn to quarantine one city, as opposed to now I can be bam, 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 4 quarantines, which is so helpful.
Especially when one of our monthly missions
is
finished with 7 quarantine cities.
Yeah, that has been infinitely easier as a result. I'm somewhat glad that we were put in a position where we had to start new characters, because it's really helped to go, our needs have changed, what do we need now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, we certainly needed the quarantine specialist. It would have been nice to be able to keep the medic that we had.
It would have been, but I think
the researcher.
Yes.
I can't remember.
I had
the
the researcher. I think.
it was the scientist or something.
Yeah. The point being, while it would have been nice to keep them, I think ultimately it's where we're at in the game right now. Cities are starting to have more get overrun and an outbreak more often. It's we need to keep that down, and we need to get quarantines done no matter where we are, and I think we've got the 2 most important things for us right now.
We also need to have eradicated one disease to get to the end of the month, as our one of 3 out of 4 that we have to do each month. So it's been nice to sort of go, hey, I, the medic, I can, as soon as we've got a cure for things, I can just be in a city and that clears it.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really helping.
Yeah, because that obviously that means I can, once we've got a cure, we can just sort of charge around.
Yeah.
I feel like we do have sort of very useful characters for where we are right now.
We've got a new, I was worried that by losing the pair of characters we had, we wouldn't have synergy anymore, and we now just have different synergy.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah, we the best characters I think we could be at the moment for playing the game as it stands.
Yes, and we'll see, where the game goes in the coming months, but I think overall we've been doing really well.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm very proud of how well we've been playing this game. Go us.
What else have you been playing?
Well, we finished a thing together. We finished Final Fantasy VII Remake.
We did.
So I'll start with my opinions quickly. I loved the game. Mechanically, I absolutely loved it. I thought it looked gorgeous. I really liked the characterization they did with a lot of the characters. Without spoilers, I'm intrigued by the ending, but also a little bit cautiously nervous, and kind of a little bit sad for it not being one thing and it being something else. And there's a little bit of me that's I kind of wish it was something different than what it is, but I'm cautiously intrigued to see where it goes. And I'll hand the reins over to you.
Trying to be as spoiler free as possible.
Yeah.
People may have heard already. Changes have been made.
Yes.
And those changes have a framing device throughout the game.
Yes.
And
I can't blame you for not liking that framing device.
That framing device is very directed in a way.
Here's the thing. I feel like my reading of that framing device was definitely influenced by people describing it a certain way. I don't think the text of the game necessarily is as pointed as it initially I felt like it was going to be.
It's doing what it's doing.
it's doing what it's doing. It's not like that cat killer documentary turning to the screen and literally saying,
No.
"You watching the documentary are the villain here."
No,
it's not quite
it's not
that.
that.
It's not that.
But it does have that sort of...
It can
And
definitely
love.
be read with that energy, yeah.
Yes. And that... and also, like, some of those changes mean... What now? What do we have to be, like, really engaged with?
Yeah.
And like, on an emotional level? Like, what emotional engagement do we have apart from... We are the eco-terrorists. We started the game as. Where is our arc now?
Here's the thing. I'm kind of intrigued to see where their arc goes, but also, like, here's... As spoiler-free as I can be, I think the big failing to me is not the fact that they did the thing that they did with the narrative. It's that I don't feel like they did a great job of justifying why the characters wanted the thing to happen. I feel like the little flashes of, oh, that, well, we better do something, were not really flashes of things that I look at and go, I understand why the characters would then make a choice about that.
And also, for anyone who's never played the game before, like, never played a Final Fantasy game before, a lot of that stuff means nothing.
Yeah.
And not just Final Fantasy VII, like, Crisis Core and before Crisis as well.
There's an implication that some characters know more than we expected them to know, and I kind of wish that had been slightly more fleshed out, and...
I guess we'll find out more next game.
Yeah, I kind of wish that the things that some characters saw that spurred them to make choices, it was a little bit clearer, like, that's gonna happen. I need to stop that. Yeah, I think it's okay to have conflicted feelings. I'm intrigued. I'm kind of fascinated. I find the choice to do it a potentially very brave one. I am not confident that I will enjoy it because it's when this game started to become the thing it becomes at the end, it became less coherent, and that concerns me.
Yes, it felt very much more Kingdom Hearts than Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I love a good Final Fantasy. I love a good Kingdom Hearts game, but not for the fucking story. Yeah, I think it's okay that I can feel like intrigued and curious where it's going, but also a little bit like I would like to have this, but I would also like to have the other thing that I thought I was going to have. And I think that's probably as much as we can spoiler-free say.
I think so. I'm concerned slightly about time.
Yeah.
There are things that suggest that things are happening at the same time as other things.
Yes.
As opposed to long in the past. I don't know if that's just the way some scenes were angled.
Yeah.
Or what. But
well,
I was sort of going, is it... okay.
Yeah, we will see. But I thought the gameplay was fantastic. I thought the visuals, the characterizations were all really good, and I want to dip back into it at some point to unlock some of the summons and things that we missed, and to do some more just fighting stuff.
Do some fighting.
Yeah.
Them's fighting words.
What about you? What have you been playing?
I have been playing Slay the Spire.
Oh, tell me about Slay the Spire.
It crashes a lot. Like, a lot. Like, constantly. Don't touch it, don't move it. It will... If you leave it on that screen at that size and touch nothing else...
Oh, gosh.
Then you can play Slay the Spire. But if you need to tab out... woe betide you.
I did not realise it was that bad.
So, I tried to stream it, and, like, it was like, okay, this game loads up, it's fine. Okay, I can change the graphical settings on that. Okay. Can I put it on that screen? Because that's the screen I usually watch while I'm streaming, and I have this one here for the chat and stuff. Oh, it is crashed. Okay, I'll try and load that back up. Oh, it crashed before loading. Okay, then sure. Okay, just gonna verify those files. Okay, let's try that again. And over on this screen, I'll see if that can go full screen on that screen. No, it's popped back to the side. Okay, pop it back to windowed. Oh, it's crashed again. Okay, well, let's move it back over to this screen then. Yep, okay, now let's try and do a test record. Oh, it's crashed.
Okay.
So I'm having to stop my test record. Oh, God, it was 25 minutes of me getting more and more frustrated that for potentially the second stream in a row, a game was just going to be like, yeah, it worked fine in testing, but the second you try to do anything with me, I'm just going to crash or just chug.
But you've been playing some of it not on stream.
Yeah.
How is the when you've been able to actually play it gone?
I'm not very good at it, but it's fun.
It involves cards and you're going through dungeons.
It's basically a deck building game where every time you lose a run, you go back to your basic deck.
Yeah.
But as you go on, each fight you win, you'll get a chance for an extra card, or you can go to a campfire where you can sleep to recover HP, or upgrade a single card, or you can go to shops and buy extra cards, or throw cards out of your deck. It's a very fun game. It seems to have a level of randomization of what sort of power ups you'll get, what cards you'll be offered.
Yeah.
But there does seem to be a deck of, hey, these are this character's cards. These are the cards you can get. There is different card art for other characters for basically the same cards.
Yeah.
I think I've unlocked 3 characters so far.
Okay. And do they feel sufficiently different to each other?
They do have very different decks. The art style is quite interesting. It's not super detailed.
Yeah.
It feels like a step up from I whipped this together in MS Paint.
Yeah, it's loose pixel art.
Loose pixel art, but it's well done, and it's aesthetically consistent, which is always nice.
Would it be fair to describe it as pixel art that has deliberately omitted some details? It probably could have put a pixel here to be this thing, but it's no, let's just leave that kind of.
It's the level of simplistic that sometimes you see in budget games or indie games, and go. I can tell what it is and it works, but it's not the. It's not great art. It's good. It's serviceable art.
It conveys the thing it's trying to convey without any more detail than was necessary being put in.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have been enjoying it. I played a decent chunk on Sunday.
Yeah.
After hunching over a graphics tablet for 6 hours. I must paint this picture.
Many drawing.
One very small drawing.
Well, many amount of one drawing.
10.5 by 6 inches. 10.5 by 6 centimeters. That image is going to be when it's finished.
It's looking fantastic already, but I can see the effort it's taking.
So much effort. I've never tried to paint a human body before.
Yeah, well, you are doing a damn impressive job. It looks fantastic, but I can see the work it's taking.
And what about you? You played anything else?
I played the first 3 chapters of a dating sim.
Ooh.
I started playing Later Daters.
Later Daters!
Yeah, it is a dating sim set in an old folks' home. Mm-hmm. It is you pay for the download once, and it's sort of little episodes, and the last few of them haven't been added in yet. But the first 3 of them are available now, and yeah, it's a really sweet, progressive little game. You play as a character who can be... you've got multiple titles and pronouns. You can be a non-binary character, or you can be male or female, trans or cis. You've got multiple different profile images which aren't connected to your pronoun use, so you can sort of mix them up a bit if desired. And you play this character who basically has ended up in a nursing home because they had their lovely house and they had their lovely life with their cat, and you've had a nasty fall and
damage. The fall.
The fall. You were lucky. A delivery driver knocked on the door and you shouted for help, and they were able to get you some help. But the character talks about hey, if that delivery driver hadn't come, I probably wouldn't have made it, which is a real bad situation. Yeah. And the doctor's you got to move into a home. It's just kind of not safe for you. You've got vertigo. If you have another fall, it's going to be bad. So you can set some things about your character before you move in, what their background is like. They may have a previous partner. I think mine was married for 50 years to a woman who was like a biker woman who died 5 years previous, and the character was a little bit, having a bit of a mourn. They were a bit sad over it. And what I really like about this game is that, while you've obviously got these creator character aspects to yourself, the canon characters that live in this home, as well as just like being each of them feeling very unique and having their own specific feel to them, are very diverse in the way they're created. You've got non-cis characters, you've got characters of various sexualities, you've got like a really lovely selection of characters, and on top of that, you've got characters who, while being older characters, they don't have the stereotypical interests and personalities
They're not all knitting.
They're not all knitting. Like, you've got one person who, like, tends the greenhouse there, but, grows a little pot in the corner, some weed in the corner. Yeah, and you have got, like, the sort of, classic knitting types, but you've also got, like, created a strip poker club and keeps getting in trouble guy, and, you've got a lot of very nice archetypes. I've been really impressed by, like, aspects of, like, how they handle the dating system. You can be polyamorous, and the game is, like, really open to that as an idea. It doesn't do the whole, like, we're going to turn this into a sitcom, or you got to hide this from so-and-so. Oh, so-and-so's mad about this. I got into a situation where I was, like, sort of pursuing, like, 3 characters that I thought were kind of interesting, and all 3 of them misunderstood things I'd said and turned up at my door at once thinking I'd invited them on a date to the movie night that was happening that night, and it's oh no, 3 people have turned up for date night, oh, what you gonna do? I was just like, well, I like all of you, can we all go on a date? And they were like, well, I like you, and I like you, and I like you. Sure, we'll all go on a quadruple date.
Yeah.
We went on a quadruple date where I kissed 2 of them, and everyone was aware of it, and everyone had a nice time. Yeah, it was really nice to have, like, such an open attitude to, fuck it, what have we got to lose? We all like each other, let's all go on a date, and maybe some of us will kiss.
Yay!
On top of that, it's quite funny in places. It's got some really amusing writing, but it back and forths quite strongly between, like, quite funny, light-hearted, sweet scenes and some very deep and kind of heavy sometimes conversations, because it's set in an old folks' home. So you've got, like, there was a situation I had where, like, you've got to pick which social club you want to join in the nursing home, and I didn't choose to go to the card club, and someone who I'd not met yet died, and it's like, oh, if you'd gone there, you'd have met them, but now we're going to have a conversation about feeling a bit bad that you never got to meet someone and that you missed your chance and they're gone now. Or, there's conversations about, like, fear of death, or a character struggling with how they're going to come out to their not very supportive grandkids, and, some really, like, important and well-handled conversations interspersed between, I'm going to go on a silly polyamorous date and it's going to be lovely. It's a really nice little game, this. Yay. It doesn't seem like it's going to be super long. Like, each of the, like, chapters has taken about an hour from what I've seen so far, so maybe a little over an hour. So I would guess, like, 5 to 6 hours to do a run of the full game, and it's adorable, it's real charming, and it's real nice to play a game where you get to see LGBT characters live to an old age and be happy and be openly out and be in love and be happy. There's not enough, like, getting to see, like, here's trans and non-binary and gay people getting to be happy, sweet, open old people.
Yay.
And, it's nice to see that sometimes. Mm-hmm. What about you? Have you played anything else?
That's it, really.
Yeah.
Any others?
Continue playing Animal Crossing, trying to get hybrid flowers, which is a lot.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I've got, like, a whole cross-hatched, like, trying to breed hybrid flowers garden, but I also have a specific garden just for trying to get blue roses. It's a whole thing.
Blue roses? Are you sending the FBI in?
Well, that's everything I've played this week.
Well then, time for this.
So,
So, Genzalor,
Yes.
we come to the western Spire arm of the galaxy and, hoping to abduct from humans,
Yes,
was it?
well, I had it on the list that Earth was going to be tonight. I
Yes.
hear that Earth's quite popular. You just,
Yeah, I mean, you did do all the recon work, didn't you?
Yeah, so...
Teeming with life, you said?
Yeah, it's teeming with life, and from what I hear, if you go there at night, they won't be able to see you, because obviously it's night time.
You mean they don't have, like, normal sensors for detecting,
Oh,
things
no.
at night?
No.
Oh.
So, you go there at night when, it's dark, they can't see.
Yeah.
And they'll just be milling around outside, sometimes by themselves, trying to
Oh.
walk home or, just out on an adventure in the dark.
And then
you just sort of...
stumble, you said in your report.
Exactly. I've done lots of recon. It's teeming with them. Just pick one up and they'll never notice.
Well, the thing is, we've been cruising around this planet now for about 25 Bluznarks, and, not seeing any human life.
No. Like, all the sensors seem to say that they might be in the buildings, which is not ideal for us.
Did you do anything to warn them that we were coming?
No, I had the stealth sensors on.
And you're sure they can't see at night?
I'm sure they can't see at night.
Well, I'm very suspicious, and this will be reported to High Command.
I promise you, they're not on to me. I'm sorry.
I've got that whole array of anal probes. Not a single one of them's going to get used.
I know
They've got an expiry date.
I know. I'm as disappointed as you are.
Hoping to do some butt stuff. There we go.
I mean, who isn't?
Are you missing having milestones to help give time meaning?
Uh-huh.
Why not celebrate some new holidays we've invented just for you?
Go on.
May the 20th, it's now Hang Out on Skype with Some Friends Day.
Isn't that most days now? I mean Zoom, but... Yeah.
June 10th is It's Okay to Eat an Entire Tub of Ice Cream Alone Day.
Again, that's... most days... So wait, are you saying it's not okay the rest of the days? Because I've been doing that a lot recently.
June 28th is Sit Out on Your Front Step enjoying some of the sunshine that you're not allowed to go further into.
But I'm in a block of flats. There's no sunshine out there.
Look forward to these and many more milestones to stop the time feeling quite so Jeremy Beremy.
How did they dot the I? So, what have you put in your eyes?
Only really the things we've put in our eyes together this week.
Yeah.
We finished watching Deep Space Nine.
We did.
So Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Fantastic series overall. I really enjoyed watching through it. I will say the final season, the end of it felt a bit rushed.
The end felt like, tie all these loose ends together. Like, even in there was a whole storyline that could have just been dropped from the entire series.
Yeah.
And while some of the filler episodes would have needed different filler,
yeah,
there wouldn't have been, hey, it's 20 minutes before the end. Isn't there something else that's going on?
Yeah,
because I feel like this is already wrapped up.
That's the main thing. Like, I don't feel too bad talking about, like, light spoilers, considering how long ago that show came out. There's this whole plot line for the whole show about the Power Raids, which are, like, the evil version of the Bajoran gods, and they're built up like they're going to be, like, the final villain arc is we're going to have to deal with the Power Raids. It's literally 20 minutes at the end of someone's going to push someone in a hole.
Someone's going to do a thing. Someone else is going to do a thing. Someone else has to push a person in a hole. Okay.
Yeah.
The end.
It felt like such a because here's the thing, the other plot with, like, the big war with the Dominion, that felt like it had a fairly, well thought out end. The Power Raids felt so tacked on.
Yeah. Like they either needed to make that so much bigger and the main space battle stuff slightly smaller.
Yeah.
Or they needed to get rid of it entirely, or maybe just have, like, a two-part ending. One part is just the space war, the other part is just...
I think it needed one more episode. I think that double episode on the Dominion War was great.
Mm-hmm.
And then have the end of that be like, here's a tease for the Power Raids. OMG, it's not over yet. One more episode, let's spend 40 minutes doing the Power Raids thing. That would have given it some more room.
It just felt like a bit of a damp squib, really.
We were having that discussion like 20 minutes before the end going, are they going to get back? Are they going to get back to the Power Raids?
Oh, no, here it is. Oh. Because they still had to do all of the, and then they went home stuff.
But, like, they'd spent so long building up, like, the build-up they put so much time into.
Yeah.
Like, I was really interested in the whole, like, Kai Wynn's motivations for sort of abandoning her faith, and, like, that was all really interesting.
Self-aggrandizement.
Yeah, like, she got a lot of development that just kind of went nowhere.
Yeah. It went down a hole, you could say.
But it's been nice. It's been really nice to watch through a whole Star Trek together.
Yeah, I think. I mean, bar the more recent stuff,
Yeah.
the considerably shorter stuff. I don't think I've ever watched
This is-
end to end.
This is the first 7 seasons of a Star Trek you've watched.
Yeah.
Wow. I very much enjoyed it. Deep Space Nine, I think, is a real good Star Trek.
It was alright. It wasn't the best ending. I would still give that credit to either Next Gen or Voyager.
Yeah, the ending wasn't great, but the journey was wonderful. I enjoyed the journey a lot.
Yes, we watched characters that we didn't much like at the beginning grow and become much more interesting characters.
Nog in particular.
In particular,
Nog, you went from being the person who I dreaded seeing in episodes to being like, oh heck, Nog's back.
Yay.
I like Nog. Nog's alright.
He's the most together of the Ferengis.
Yeah, he's... Rom's lovely.
Rom's lovely. He's not really super together.
No. What about you? What have you watched this week?
I watched some Voltron.
Oh,
Legend
yeah.
of Andor.
Legendary Defenders.
There's a lot of boys in it, isn't there?
There's a lot of boys.
It's not... And that's fine. But I think I've got used to watching a lot of cartoons recently where there's like a much more even mix.
I think you've been spoiled by having She-Ra in particular.
But, I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's what, 2 main female characters in the show?
There are more over time, but yeah,
Okay.
that's a valid complaint.
It's like, maybe it's just like my the She-Ra, the Steven Universe.
We've been spoiled with shows with good percentages of female characters, so that when it swings back the other way, it's like,
What is this? The
where's
90s?
my girls?
Right.
Yeah.
It's well animated. It's interesting. Some of the voice cast has been nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's alright. I will probably watch some more of it if I ever get any free time.
I feel like I got it the good way round by watching Voltron and then She-Ra. I feel like watching She-Ra and then Voltron, you're gonna... Here's the thing, that as much as I enjoyed Voltron, it had a lot of issues that I think largely DreamWorks heard feedback and improved upon with She-Ra.
Okay.
You've watched the better one and are now going back to the one that had the problems that they had to fix.
Sure.
Yes, you're watching. You're going to see narrative issues and go, yeah, that's not a problem in She-Ra, I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
We watched another thing together.
We
last
started
night.
watching a thing together.
We watched the first half of The Midnight Gospel
That's
on
a
Netflix.
conversation starter.
Yeah, that's a fucking thing. So, the concept of this show, like in universe, is there's this person who borrowed a bunch of money from his sister that he cannot afford to pay back to get a multiple universe simulator, and his whole thing is he wants to make a podcast or a video, Spacecast, a video cast where he travels to alternate dimensions and just interviews people.
Yes.
The actual conceit of what the show is it's segments from a podcast, an interview podcast that was done, using these sort of podcast interview discussions as a framework to build this sort of fantastical, trippy narrative around. It's a really interesting show. I feel like there's a lot happening that I'm going to need a rewatch to take in.
Yeah, because I think we both talked about this on either the first or second episode. It was like I was getting very distracted by the visuals. I caught a lot of what was being said, but sometimes there would just be something so striking visually, just be like, oh, hang on, sorry, I've completely lost the thread of this conversation.
I was the opposite way around, which was I was hyper-focused on the conversation and was missing some of the fantastical visual stuff happening. It's a lot of, deep spiritual conversations, lots of musings about life and topics. What sort of stuff has it touched on so far? We've had conversations about, mindfulness and...
spirituality, the nature of existence.
Drug use.
Love.
Death. Forgiveness was a big one. Magic as a framework for understanding the world.
Understanding self. So I wrote life, death, spirituality, the nature of existence, forgiveness, love, understanding, and the self.
Yeah, it's...
Well, that's what the words are about. There's been stuff in the visuals that have been very seemingly about things like the meat industry.
Yeah, like, and here's the thing, is that largely in these first 4 episodes, the visual stuff has been loosely themed to, like, the emotive themes of what's being discussed. So, like, the episode where it's this whole big conversation about, like, learning to practice forgiveness and attentive listening and things, is telling this story of this woman going on what initially seems like a revenge quest that ends up being fighting people with love and forgiveness. And, like, it's...
But also a revenge quest.
Yeah, it's a lot of, like, striking visual similes to sort of hit home. I feel like the visuals set the emotional tone for what the conversation is about.
Even when there's a demon in your butt.
Even then when there's a demon in your butt. Oh my god, the butt demon was terrifying. Fucking scary.
Oh no. Finally a butt you don't like.
Not this one.
Oh no.
But, like, I really like the overall concept going on.
Yeah, that's great.
I have heard that, like, the latter half of this deals more with the meta-narrative outside of the interviews. And apparently the latter half of the season is the better half of the season, I've been told. Like, one thing that I did catch on Twitter that, like, I kind of would agree with is the first half of the season, sometimes the introduction of some of these interviews feels a little like you've just jumped into the middle of a conversation. There's a couple of times where the conversations have felt a little like jumping around a little bit, and like you're not getting the full conversation.
Because you're probably not, I guess.
No, because obviously it's chunks of audio from a much longer interview. And that is the thing I was noticing at the time, and apparently that gets less of an issue as this goes on. So I'm intrigued about that, but yeah, so far it's led to us having to pause episodes at the end and go,
so let's have a chat about that.
Yeah, let's have a chat about that.
Yeah, let's decompress on that. It can be quite heavy going, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's the kind of conversations that happen middle of the night when you're inebriated and you know, considering life in all its complexities.
You're philosophizing at 3 a.m.
Doing a bit of a 3 a.m. I've had a thought.
I've had a deep and
spiritual thought, and I need to get it out of me before it floats away.
Mm-hmm. Like a lava lamp.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel of having what feels like a deep insight that very quickly your brain's gone somewhere else, and it's that sort of, you know, not holding on to any one thing too tight and letting it all just sort of go.
Yeah, and also I'm curious about Clancy's collection of shoes.
Yes, he collects shoes every time he goes in another world. I'm guessing because he's walking a mile in someone else's shoes.
That makes sense. But also Clancy's dad, Hoops is Daniel's dad.
Yes.
What's going on there?
What's going on there? Also the musical numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed the abstract musical numbers.
Yeah, it very much. I mean, obviously it's Pendleton Ward, so there's a lot about it that reminds me of like the pilot episode of Adventure Time.
Yes.
The sort of stuff that they were like, now Penn, we're gonna have to dial back on the weird non sequitur stuff.
Yes, because like there's a whole point in that first episode where it's a song from the perspective of zombies that are actually quite happy with.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole aspect to that first episode about like not forcing your perspectives on other people.
Yeah,
because everyone's like, zombies bad, but what if zombies actually alright? Really?
Yeah,
just doing their own thing. Yeah,
it's fascinating, and I can't wait to watch more. ... when I have an evening that I have some free time to focus on it. Mm-hmm. It's not a let's wedge one in before dinner kind of thing.
I mean, if you've got 20 minutes and you're going to actually focus on it and have the conversation over dinner, but not like, I'm just going to half-ass this while I cook things in the background.
Yes, I need to be sat giving it my undivided attention for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes double your undivided attention.
Yes, I could definitely see us finishing this and then looping right back to episode 1, because I feel like both of us are like, I could have got more out of that one. I know there's more in there I could get.
Mm-hmm. I might have to just sort of listen to the episodes rather than watching them. Just
Yeah.
close my eyes and go.
Here's the thing. Once we've watched through it again, I'm half tempted to track down the full interviews those came from, because they seem like really interesting conversations. Yeah. Have you watched anything else?
That's it, really.
Well then, time for this.
Yeah. Hello, we got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you have a lot of time on your hands right now?
Like many people, yes, of course.
Do you want to learn a new skill?
I don't have enough skills in my repertoire. What? Tell me more.
How about trying Meet-a-Me?
Oh, Meet-a-Me.
Yeah, a person who may or may not know how to teach the thing that they're good at tries to teach you all the stuff and how they do that.
Okay, so these are people that know how to do a thing.
Oh yeah, like there's like amazing music producers that make music that you genuinely love.
Yeah, and they'll know how to teach me step by step, how to actually do the thing myself.
I mean, they are very good at what they do. They make really good music.
Is this gonna be one of these things where they're like, this step I just kind of fiddle around until it sounds right,
Ooh.
that kind of thing.
Ooh, feeling very cold out there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought it might be.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, head on over to meetame.lol.net and you could get 75% of any course this week. So you could learn how to make drum and bass by like some of the biggest names in drum and bass. They will waffle on about exactly how many things they've done wrong in the making of the music, and then they will spend 40 minutes trying to pick out a snare sample.
Oh wow. That sounds very specific.
But once they've treated it through like a lot of different things that they advise you that you probably shouldn't do because it's not good practice, they will have probably changed their mind on which snare they wanted and started again entirely. But they will in the meantime have come up with a really good bass line that might be used as a project maybe, or just a riser noise. There's a whole bit where they start making a sample pack. Just like, hey, like all these noises are great. You could put those together as a sample pack, but without actually having taught you how to make drum and bass. So that's Me. Head on over there, enter the code to get 75% off. It's Q and PS 115. 115. Yep. Probably. Yep, that's it. And yeah, get 75% off your first, second, and indeed third lesson, as long as you buy them all this week. Inside the boardroom of Electronic Actor Softworks.
Hi. How's the meetings, the business going? Business.
I mean, money. Business. Money. Good.
Yeah.
Figures way up.
Oh, the numbers increasing.
Yeah, I mean, we like the numbers, right?
We do. I like when they go up.
And I've had a lot of fun. Not only are we torturing the staff, but you know how, like, usually we release all our games and they go to the shops and they take a cut and things.
Yeah.
And well, because of, like, the lockdown, we've just been selling everything straight to them, and you would not believe how much extra money we're making.
Oh my goodness, it's almost like we didn't need them.
It's almost like we didn't need them, and it's funny, because now they are running around like little scared vole creatures, desperately trying to get their shops reopened, bribing officials. I mean, it's the kind of thing we do.
Yeah.
But I think they've learned pretty well. But the numbers are in on the big new game all the fans wanted. Yeah, oh, man, I love a bait and switch. I love it so much. They pestered us for decades to bring this damn thing, and I was like, I hate this fucking game, you hate this fucking game, but they will not shut up about this fucking game. And we teased them. We said, hey, if you buy this and show money for this, we'll think about making the thing you want. And they bought those things. Those things were garbage. And some of them even got super invested in and said garbage. But
finally we released the first part of the game, and they're not happy.
No.
I mean, because I got the R&D guys, changed it all.
Yeah. So I've been working on a plan here because they're. Some of them aren't so happy about how we changed the thing, and it's not going to be quite what they thought it was. So I've got a plan.
Right.
We make the thing that is not quite the thing they thought it was, and we make the other parts, and they'll buy it because it's got the name of the thing they like on it. Yeah,
they bought the fucking mobile game.
Yeah, exactly. So from there, we leave it about 5 years.
Right.
And then we make the thing that we made them think we were going to sell them in the first place.
Right.
We give them that after this.
Right.
We get them to buy this and then go, ha! The real psych, we're actually making the thing we originally seemed like we were making.
Meanwhile, that is the whole... It's actually a sequel to the Cardiovascular Empire.
Yeah.
I mean, people love those fucking games, but they are ridiculously named.
Oh, I know. So many, fractions in the names.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love a fraction, right? So actually what we're doing is, that's gonna spin off into, Cardiovascular Empire last imagining...
Down the Dream Pipe 3.2.
0.61211/... And then we'll do like a whole series of equations, that takes up the entire front of the box. But between some of the numbers, we'll make one of those figures that they just pop up and be like, oh shit, it's that guy from the thing.
You are fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you listened to?
Well, on our weekly update of this particular segment, I'm up to date on the Magnus archives now. I got the whole way through it, 160 plus episodes in a few weeks. My God, that show!
Right,
that is a brave and ambitious narrative. That.
Mm-hmm.
Without spoiling too much, I'm going to keep real light on this. This is a fantastic. Okay. As a fiction podcast about horror, it starts off as this fantastic, seemingly unconnected stories, serialized horror. The meta-narrative builds up and, oh my god, that escalation over those first 4 seasons. Season 4's finale. All I could do for a while afterwards was just go...
I deliberately got you to sit and listen to it with me. And I was just leaning in, just looking at you, just it's about to happen. The thing's about to happen.
So
are you ready for the thing?
I'd been primed that the season 4 finale was going to be a lot
TM.
I thought I had anticipated, my big idea of, it's going to get that bad. It's going to be real fucking bad.
It got considerably worse.
Yeah, I thought I had imagined, worst case scenario, they'd maybe do this. They, 10 or more times exceeded what I had anticipated. I'll say that. Season 5, first few episodes of that. I'm very much enjoying the change of structure of how what they've decided to do narrative flow wise with the final season. My goodness, season 5 has been a lot to listen to in this. Particularly the most recent episode about a village. About a village and a disease that is spreading, and themes such as, fear of the outsider and
nationalism.
Yep. The scariest part of the disease is the people who don't have symptoms. There's a lot of themes to unpack in that most recent one. Everyone wearing their face masks.
Everyone wearing their face masks and no one ever touching.
No one ever touching.
You know what they needed? They needed social distancing.
They
just did not do that.
That episode was a thing.
Yeah, because I caught that the day it came out and I was like... I was out for my daily walk. And it was a sort of bright, sunny day with the birdies tweeting.
Yeah.
Very much like the way that episode starts. It's bright and sunny and everyone says it's beautiful and it's always dappled with beautiful sepia sunshine. And I was just like, that is how it is. And then the episode goes on, I was like, oh, okay. And I love that, the beginning of this series and, a couple of episodes since, they've started with a,
Hey everybody, so we wrote this a while ago.
Yeah, it's gonna seem like we're writing about the current state of the world, but we wrote this quite a while ago, and we're very sorry that it's gonna feel quite,
We understand if you don't...
Yes.
They've always had content warnings on their, like, episode descriptions.
Yes. But they've this season been like, hey, we highly recommend you read we highly recommend, even if you don't normally, please read the content warnings before you listen, just
In case it's too much for you.
Just in case it's too much, because this is going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot. And
Yeah.
It is, in fact, a lot.
Oh, it's fantastic, though. It's the most I've wanted to recommend any piece of media in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely loving it. I think they did a great job. I'm very, very, very impressed.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been listening to?
Mostly just catching up stuff, really. So I sort of caught up with Question Box, which is now on hiatus. So they finished season 1. Up to date with Podquisition, because I'd fallen a little bit behind on that. Sorry.
That's okay.
Caught up with My Brother and Me.
I need to catch
I was
up
a
on
few
that.
episodes behind on that. This is the thing, like, Magnus Archives completely consumed me for,
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Honestly, this has been my media life for the last few days, has been catch up on all the stuff that I wasn't keeping up with because I was Magnus archiving.
Mhm. But still, it's worth going back to the next.
Oh, it's fantastic. When I've caught up on the rest of my media backlog, perhaps I will, but...
The only other thing I really listened to is Stella Firma.
Yes, which is another Rusty
Rusty
Quill
Quill.
podcast, the people that make the Magnus archives.
Yes, it's the voice actor Ben Meredith.
Yeah.
and I believe his brother.
Yes, I believe so.
And they do what sounds very much like improvised stuff
Yeah.
about what it is to be a drunken, lazy planet designer and his clone assistant who is constantly being threatened with recycling.
Yeah, I caught some bits of that you were listening to. It sounds really fun, very high energy.
Yes. And that's another one that started off very much hey, this week, and I get the impression they get the suggestions from Twitter.
Yes.
So it's like, this week we're going to design this planet. Okay, what do we need for this? Okay, we need a trough and boiling water and like a long, very, very, very dangerous slide. It's like, okay. But sort of as that series has gone on, I think I'm like 7 episodes in now, it's got to things like, hey, there are things outside the world and or outside of the office that this takes place
Once again, it's here's some silly one-by-one stories. Ooh, now some meta-narrative is starting to creep in.
Yeah, I can't tell how big that mercenary is going to get. There was one about like having just like a performance review.
My understanding is that Rusty Quill as a podcast network are very big on, if you're doing fiction, there needs to be a meta-narrative.
Yes, I believe so, because I remember listening to the like the Q&As about
Yes.
Magnus Archives.
It
and
was very much
Alexander was like,
yeah.
it must have a meta-narrative.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I'm enjoying that so far.
Nice. The only other thing I listened to was there's a new bit of Gerard Way music that got put up that has no lyrics, but very enjoyable piece of music he stuck up on SoundCloud.
A busy bunny.
He is a busybody. Well, he's stuck it. Well, some of these are older tracks that he's just putting out while the quarantine's happened. He's like,
Gotcha.
hey, everyone's strapped. Here's the thing to keep you entertained. An instrumental, it's like 2 minutes long, called P.S. Earth. And it's a really nice little piece of rock music that I ended up sitting and writing some lyrics to myself because I needed to do something creative that wasn't reviewing.
That's fine.
And I don't know if they'll ever see the world, but I had fun listening to a piece of instrumental music I enjoyed and going, I'm going to write some words to this.
Yay!
Yay.
Yay!
I think that's everything I've listened to this week.
Well then, time for this.
Time for this.
You got your own.
Yeah, got me own, yeah.
Nice. Must say I'm starting to run a bit low at this
It's a little tough to get sorted, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know, they're all recommending we don't at this time, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, not going to stop me.
Did you know
Did I know?
That's this coronavirus thing, yeah?
Yeah.
Everyone's been kept inside, locked down, except for essential workers, right?
Yeah.
And they are all being filled with fears.
Yeah.
People are afraid of, like, catching this thing that they might have for a really long time, not even know it.
Yeah.
They're afraid of their loved ones. They're afraid of anyone who's been out of the house and maybe didn't only wash their hands for 19 seconds.
Oh, didn't do the Homer Bim Bam intro.
I didn't do the Homer Bim Bam intro, right? And you got to do it at the right pace as well.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's great to just, finish washing your hands, throw your hands up in the air and be like, "What's up, you cool babies?" But I've been thinking, right?
Yeah.
All this misery,
Mm.
I reckon a shadowy cabal of billionaires have found a way, right? Like, they're in lockdown too. They found a way of siphoning human misery off of, like, all the people, like, all the poor people.
Yeah.
Like, whether it be, like, being forced still to go out to work, or losing their jobs and not knowing how things are going to go, or the risk to health, or all the other stuff, right? Or just the general misery of being stuck at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not capitalism, though, right?
I was going to say, isn't that capitalism?
No, it's much, much worse. Like, this is like the direct approach, yeah? This is like releasing whole movies on Netflix without going to the cinemas. That's what this is.
Yeah, that's capitalism.
No, it's worse than that. Like, they're literally sucking the misery out of people.
That is literally capitalism.
You might have a point there.
Do you have a bunch of mundane tasks to do?
Yeah!
Can't summon the energy to do them?
It's really hard right now.
Try personal autopilot.
How does it work?
Just switch on your personal autopilot, TM, and you'll get to work. Your body will just go about the day doing things for you. You don't have to worry, you'll get on with all the tasks you've set it. Doing the washing, doing the ironing, hoovering, cleaning the house, going shopping. You can just sit and have a nice think, or maybe a nap. Catch up on some podcasts.
It's like depression, but more productive.
Personal autopilot. It's like depression, but more productive.
Question time, some questions. What's the questions? Dungeon Kitty asks, what's your favourite flower? Oh, tough question.
Daisies.
Daisies. I like lavender, the plant. I don't know if that's a flower. I like lavender. I like daffodils.
Daffodils.
Yeah.
I like daisies. They're so happy and they're so free.
Oh, sorry. Dandelions. Dandelions is the obvious answer. I love dandelions.
Again, another free plant.
Indeed, dandelions are adorable.
All over the place.
Yes,
Confused,
they're
very
magical. They blow in the air.
They do.
They're a plant that do magic.
They do. They do the big floaties, very visible, the high velocity floaties. Tricky asks, how many boats/ships have you been on?
Oh, too many to count.
How many?
Well, when you say ships, do you mean like water ships, not like? I don't know why I assumed that meant plane
ships.
Yes, boat/ships. I don't know. Probably at least a dozen, if not more.
Does a canoe count?
Probably.
6 or 7, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I used to, when I was little, my nan used to take me from Kingston to Hampton Court and back again on the boats up that way. Just for a thing to do. We'd sometimes wander around the hedge maze when it was still free. Yeah.
I used to really enjoy pedal boats. Doing a little
I
pedal
have been
boat.
on a pedal boat.
Yeah, little pedal boats down the river. It's a nice thing. Pedal.
It's like bicycle, but for water.
It's water bicycle.
Water bicycle. Oh, water bicycle. Sapphire Sunset asks, what is the threshold between acquaintance and friend, IRL and on the net?
The first answer that came to mind was, if you ask me how I'm doing, if I give you a generic, fine, and don't actually tell you anything, probably acquaintance. If I actually tell you, I would tell you if I wasn't having a good day. That's friend, I think.
I think for me it's the difference between sort of someone you would recognise, someone you might even say hi to, but someone you don't necessarily really know anything about.
Yeah, I feel like part of it is maybe the difference between, if I saw you, I would have a friendly good time with you, but I would never think to invite you to my home myself, or like I would never think
people.
I would never think to organise seeing you.
I suppose that, but then at the same time, there are certain acquaintances that I wouldn't be like. If someone was like, "Hey, we're having this thing, and this person and this person and this person will be here," and it was like friend acquaintance.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that's not going to stop me.
No, I'm not saying it would stop me, but like, yeah,
No, but there are some people who are just like, I would,
yeah,
not so much. Too many strangers. Queer or pleasant, I can say. Becky too. Hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
If humans photosynthesized, what would be the effect on capitalism?
I mean, capitalism would crumble pretty quickly, I think.
I'd like to hope so.
Yeah, if I could just survive without needing to pay rent by just lying in the sun in a field, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think I'd live in a house.
I mean, probably not.
I'd go and wander and do things.
Yeah.
And help overthrow capitalism
Ha ha ha
with my shiny leaves. Tricky asks, what's the most impressive thing you've done while also multitasking something else?
Ooh. I don't think I've got a good answer to this because I don't multitask.
No,
really.
Same.
I have a brain that likes to put 100% of its tendrils clamped into one thing and go, this is what I'm doing, and not focus on anything else until that's done, and I unclamp then.
Sometimes if I'm really depressed, I will put on too many things so that I've got, like I can just shut noise up by sheer force of will.
That's the thing, is for me, multitasking is never impressive. It's, my brain is craving sensory input, and I just need to bombard my brain for a bit.
I need the brain equivalent of a weighted blanket.
Yes, like sometimes I need the audio-visual equivalent of just weigh me down with sound and things to see. In terms of like impressive, not really, because if I'm trying to do a creative thing or a thing that would be impressive, everything I have gets locked into focusing on it.
I completed Final Fantasy VII while watching Blackadder Seasons 2 and 3 on repeat and listening to the Tank Girl soundtrack.
I mean, well done you.
That's about as close as it gets, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a dark time for the rebellion.
Okay, maybe this. I ran both a lighting desk and a sound desk at the same time for a pantomime.
There we go.
Having to flip between two scripts and move the pages and like look out for two sets of highlighted do this notes.
That seems like a lot of work. Don't they usually have two people for that?
They do, and one of the people was unavailable at short notice, and I was given their book of annotated notes and told, you gotta run both desks. Yeah, there you go, that's the one time I multitasked a thing.
That's damn impressive.
Yeah.
Future Fishy asks, what's your favourite Animal Crossing fruit to have as a native fruit?
Oh, peaches. They look kind of like butts.
Butts. Have they taught you anything?
Have
you learnt the teachers of peaches?
I have not learnt the teachers of peaches.
Callum Turner, hi Callum. Is there a piece of hardware or software that you really want, primarily for creative purposes, but it doesn't have to be, you cannot justify the cost of?
Oh.
I can think of a lot.
Is that
right
hardware
now.
or software, did
hardware
they say?
or software.
Oh. You answer first if you've got answers.
I mean, I've got a few. Like, I would like I think it's the signature edition of FL Studio, which has got fucking everything with it. It's like, I think it's like 500 quid.
Actually, I know what the thing is, and I've been eyeing these up for so long. So for when I do events and I have to do capture software, one of my big paranoias is this capturing right? Is it getting the footage? Is it all looking right? Like, so that I don't like press record on a piece of like my little external capture thing, and then get home and be like, I didn't notice that HDCP was on and I have no footage. There are capture cards you can get that record to SSD and have a screen built into them. So you can see a live preview of what's recording in real time, and oh my goodness, like, I keep eyeing them up and they're too expensive to justify, but I'm like, that's the piece of kit that I wish I could justify.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I've looked them up many a time. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I mean, it's one of those things. I looked at them somewhat recently because I had book money come in, and it's like, I mean, I could afford it, but should I?
Yeah, I suppose it's a difficult one. Especially when you've got, like, almost that equipment already.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. 100%, I probably would have done it, ... if I hadn't received money that could afford to do it during the lockdown, where it's like, I'm probably not going to be in person attending any video game review or preview events.
Who knows? The cost might go down by the time we get to Spire.
But I'm not going to be doing any of that in 2020. Probably not till 2021. I can't really justify it at this time.
Yeah. Plus, but by the time you can afford it, like, or you do think it's worth it, it could be cheaper or better technology.
Yeah, but it's the thing I keep looking at, going, yeah, but
the thing. I can imagine. The other ones, like, I think whatever the latest version of Moho Studio is, which is an animation software, there are free ones out there. Many years ago, I had whatever it was called before. I think Anime Studio, and it's like, this is really cool. I like all the bone system in this, and the quality of the tweening, and the fact that you can do all sorts of stuff. The new version has like much better pre-built in stuff for like lip syncing. It's like, so if you do all the switch layers for the mouths, you can pretty much make it do the thing. It's like, oh,
I would love that as a thing. Like, I would like to do more animation stuff. I don't have a lot of time, but like, I really like doing animations and have enjoyed using that before. But again, I think the software for that, I think an official copy's like £600. Yeah.
Again, it's good software, but it's very expensive for that stuff. Hardware, like a proper desktop. I haven't had a working desktop in about 3 years.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to go, I have a thing that's got like more than 8 gig of RAM, so that I can like run big stuff without it crashing.
Yes.
And stream it.
Yeah. I would at some point like to upgrade my tower, because like 5 years on, it's starting to struggle a bit. God, it feels weird to think I've had that since Podquisition first started.
Wow.
Yeah, it's done its job well, but it's showing its age.
It's showing its dust too.
Yes, I dust it every so often, but yeah,
that's always the way with big computers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was asking questions.
We're just musing about technology we want.
I like technology.
Technology's good.
Lee Smith asks, how many dragons is too many dragons? Asking for a friend.
No amount is too many if one of the dragons hoards dragons.
What if you're the dragon that hoards dragons? What if the friend they're asking for is a dragon who hoards dragons?
Yeah, I think that if you have the space, there is no too many dragons.
Yeah, I think having dragons or pets or like a polyamorous relationship.
Yeah.
It's how well can you give enough attention to all of your dragons?
There is no correct answer. It is how much of you is there to go around to properly care for all of the insert blank that you have in your care.
Yeah, pretty much. Just compared polyamory to hoarding dragons.
I mean, yeah.
CR Serenity 2132 asks, how pleasant are said queer and pleasant strangers?
Oh, very pleasant.
You're lovely.
You're lovely.
You're
And
absolutely
all the
lovely.
listeners.
They're lovely too.
You're lovely
They
too.
are
yeah.
lovely.
They are lovely.
They're
aren't
very
they?
lovely. We very much appreciate them all.
Yeah, they're all lovely. They're all very pleasant.
Mhm. As we've said previously on this show, you don't have to be queer as long as you're a pleasant stranger.
Indeed.
And Blackstone asks, what would you do differently if you had opposable thumb feet? I mean, like, I would swing from things more, definitely.
Oh, definitely. It would make it much easier to grab the remote off of the table if we were lying down on the sofa. To be able to just like,
I mean, I can probably already do that now. I'm quite good with my feet.
Yeah.
But having an opposable thumb, well, that would be very good indeed.
Oh, wouldn't it just? No, that's the good answers, I think.
Swing from things.
Swing from things.
Swing from things. Lucy asks, what movie do you think would be a fun video game?
Ooh. I would love to play a Pacific Rim video game where two people have to control the same robot using two controllers. Like, working on the movie's whole mechanic of two people have to be in sync to do the thing right. I feel like you could have a really cool two people control one giant robot game.
See, I had a thought, but since you've mentioned that, I can only think of the movie Robot Jocks. and that it would be cool to, like, hey, build and design and develop the ultimate fighting robot. Just for, like, sport on television. Forget that bipedal robots is a ridiculous idea that in reality isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Let's build them and make them fight just so people can watch.
Yeah.
My original thought was, it was quite a good film that would make like a really good, like atmospheric kind of horror video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about like Silent Hill?
I knew you were going to say Silent Hill. After we had the conversation about the fog outside earlier, I was like, you're going to fucking say Silent Hill. I love you.
I love you too.
I don't want the fuck yous to be construed as anything other than I fucking love you.
I fucking love you too. Come on, Canary, sort that shit out. Katie asks, have you ever seen a driftwood fire?
A what?
A driftwood fire.
Oh, what? Driftwood
Yes.
satellite? Yes.
Don't think so.
I believe so. Pretty sure we set some driftwood alight in my teen years.
I mean, probably. You live near a beach.
Indeed, we hosted underage drinking parties with bonfires on a beach. We probably threw some driftwood on a fire. I know. I was one of them naughty rebel teens.
I mean, we didn't start fires. We were down the park like good children, drinking till 3 a.m.
Oh, you went home at 3 a.m. We were still there at 6 a.m.
No, well, we didn't go back to my home. We went to somebody else's home.
None of us went to anyone's homes because we'd all pretended we were at each other's homes, so
Ah,
we couldn't come home.
We went back to the home of the school alcoholic,
Ah.
and she was like, and her parents were like, "Oh, you in? Give us a fag, okay." And then we all trample up to her room and smoke some of the most just god awful joints ever rolled. And then you know, maybe about sort of 7 a.m, I'd think about heading off drunkenly off home, and I'd get in just as my dad was leaving for work.
So yeah, driftwood fires.
But not a driftwood fire. No, I missed
Probably me for driftwood fires.
That is all the questions.
Well then,
Time for this.
time for this.
Mhm. Do you want to know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Brocial Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors.
Yeah.
Alright, Larry.
Alright, Mary, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad, mate. Not too bad, are you?
Oh, getting by. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah, I've been struggling a little bit though.
Yeah.
Because I did the thing that I've been dreading doing. I looked at my calendar for the rest of the year and had a bit of a struggle because a lot of the things I was excited about have sort of slipped out of the year.
Yeah.
There's that concert I was excited to go to. That's not till summer next year now.
Well, at least they are keeping it on, you know.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned otherwise.
Well, I mean, we'll see what state the world's in by then.
But
Is that cool?
yeah, but like that, a couple of times I was meant to spend a weekend with some friends this year have been cancelled, and just been having a lot of like the milestones of my year starting to slip away.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a thing.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I know it's very difficult to sort of keep track of things at this point.
Yeah.
I was thinking recently about the sort of like the amount of time that seems to have slipped by.
Yeah, it's simultaneously the days feel longer, but the months are feeling shorter.
Yeah, like I can't believe that it's already been like nearly 6 weeks that we've been.
I know.
Locked in.
I thought about it the other day in the sense of like the amount of time this has been going on is about the length of what would have been a school summer holiday, and those two periods of time don't feel like they match up.
Goodness, I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it's quite terrifying, huh?
It's quite hot, yeah.
Yeah, but like, I've been feeling a bit bad because like these a lot of these milestones are not fatal things. I can live without them, but I've been feeling really down about it. I've been beating myself up a little bit, going like, none of these are important per se, or vital. Why do I feel so, sad about moving?
Well, I think, it's very important to have things to look forward to, and when those plans are changed, not even at last minute, but like, especially as they are at the moment, as you say, they're quite nebulous.
Yeah.
Although some things have been given like, hey, we'll be back and we'll be doing it this date, but next year. Like, there is still a certain uncertainty of, is that still the case? Or, could this be shuffled again? And it's difficult to have things to look forward to.
Yeah, particularly if you're someone who, mental health is not always great. Who, I know for myself, a big part of how I get through life is I focus on, like, what's the next milestone that I can be excited about. It gives me, things to work towards. It gives me a framework. I thrive off structure and, knowing what's coming and the goalposts through my year.
I'm not so much a look into the future kind of person. Again, because I was someone who struggled with depression a lot in my younger life. It's still there, but it's a bit more managed these days. But there was a long period of time when there was never anything to look forward to.
Yeah,
and I'd sort of got myself a bit more comfortable these days, where it's like, you know what, I can go. I'm going to do a thing involving other people. I can manage that. I will look forward to that, and it's like, whoa, can't organise anything like that. Can't do anything else.
Well,
and also, it's being locked down can feel like, oh, I've got all this leisure time, but you can't do any of the leisure stuff. Like I am an avid walker. I like to go just out for a walk. Enjoy the countryside.
That's it. But you can do a walk of 40 minutes around your house or something, but you can't there's a nice big field that I like. I want to go walk around there. I want to walk up that hill.
Yeah. If I want to go down, down like the ponds, or if I want to go up the common, both places that I would be a bit more worried about going to.
It's not even the things that have specific dates that are being. It's gotten to the point where I'm looking at normally I'd go, I'm quite looking forward to the summer happening and enjoying time in a field. It's like, it's even the nebulous, not tied to a specific date things feel like they might be going from grasp.
Yeah, like these are the sort of, this is the time of year when I am more able to spend time with people.
Yeah.
And that is all being taken away. And as someone who struggles to socialise anyway, having the times when I know I can generally manage that, I think taking time away from that will probably make it more difficult.
Yeah,
it took me a long time to sort of get into that headspace of, I can manage a group event.
That's the thing. It's going to be rough, and it's easy to hand wave away as it's just a little social event here and a thing there, but it's like, I think it's okay to be struggling with that, because having structure and a way that you go through life taken away, even if just temporarily, is it's a lot.
Yeah. Virtual work, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, good dog, mate.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll pop the kettle on.
Yeah, have that cup of tea.
Nice. So, Laura,
Me?
where can we find you on the internet, darling?
Laura K. Buzz in all the places. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. LauraKBuzz.com, you'll find links to everything I publish, be it written articles, freelance features, podcasts and videos. I've got some books. Uncomfortable Labels is about being gay and trans and on the autism spectrum, and it's available where books are sold or as an audiobook on laurakbuzzstore.com. There is Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, which is a little bit delayed, unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, but will be out on February 4th, 2021. It is a silly and serious coffee table book of video game character butt reviews with a bunch of high-quality illustrations. And I've got some other books in the works. If you are a non-cisgender person, if you are trans or intersex or non-binary or agender, and gender fluid, or any other variety of non-cis, they're anything under that umbrella, and you have a story you would like to be paid to write about on the topic of gender euphoria, moments where your transition brought you joy and positivity and elation as a result of transition, as opposed to it being about, getting away from a bad thing, but actively having a good time. Check out my Twitter. There is a thread with information. I'm currently accepting pitches for a book that is being worked on. Upon completion of work, selected people will be paid £200 for a 3,000 word or so essay. Just because you've pitched does not mean you're getting paid. Obviously, I will be getting back to certain people. So check my Twitter for specific information or tweet me and I can send you the thread.
And given that you've had like 900 messages already at this point, you cannot get back to everyone.
I cannot,
very much appreciate
I cannot get back to everyone. I may email you with follow-up questions about your pitch. Most people who email me will not hear back, and I apologise about that because we have maybe 15 slots for contributors in this anthology book, but
it's been very much appreciated hearing from everybody.
It's been wonderful. It's been a really interesting couple of days reading through everyone's submissions, and I already have quite a long list I'm going to have to whittle. Yeah, it's about 3 times as large as the number of spots I've got, the long list. But we're particularly wanting to make sure that we have good diversity on it, so I highly encourage anyone who is non-white, who is disabled, who is intersectional with other situations as well as their non-cisgender status. I highly encourage applying. I want to make sure that we get a diversity of perspectives in the book. So yeah, that is a thing I am working on, and hopefully I'll be able to say more about in the summer when all of this has calmed down a bit.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, or at the very least, it's less freshly. Other than that, I do some podcasts. There is Pixel Squirt, where I talk about video game character pornography with Mari and Stacey from Geek Remix. There is Podquisition, where we tell you whether your favourite video games are great and or perfect. And there's Dice Funk, which is a Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, and soon season 7. They're all self-contained stories, so jump into whichever one you fancy. We are going to be doing a little mini-series before season 7 starts. Doing a 5-episode mini-series that is a courtroom drama of mystical proportions. It was described to me as the sort of Phoenix Wright / Danganronpa of D&D courtroom cases. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm going to be playing a ghost. Ooh, who can talk to ghosts? I have mysterious powers. Ooh. And we'll probably just fake speaking to ghosts half the time to try and fabricate evidence, but it's fine.
Roll deception.
Yes. And then I am also on Polyamory.
Polyamory? What's that?
Oh, why don't you tell them what that is, because you're on it too.
I am Jane Aerith Magnet. I am the dungeon mistress for Polyamory. It is an evil campaign in the 5th edition style. We have basically a bunch of miscreants going around
buying things for an evil corporation that collects weapons. Sometimes they sell weapons, sometimes they just destroy things. They get up to a lot of shenanigans, very silly stuff happens, and generally we all laugh at my bad puns. Yeah, there's been a lot of that recently. I've been enjoying Becky's updates on the editing. She's like, look what you did! Look what you did! It's the yes. That can be found on my YouTube, which is Maniac Janiac, or my SoundCloud, which is Janierus Magnet, where you might be listening to this now. I'm also janiac.redbubble.com, where you can get some of my fabulous t-shirt designs. And my most important one is patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio, and that's basically where all of my stuff will go. If you want to know anything I've done, be that writing on stonemonkeyradio.blog, shout me as little as $1 a month. I would super appreciate it. And if not, you could always share the show with somebody you care about. They might enjoy the show too.
Yeah.
Yay! So Laura, sing us out, darling.
Until next time, be a stranger.
Oh.